Miss Morgan here. So I've had an idea. I was thinking, I've been doing all of the year group stories and the activities to go with them, and then I thought, wouldn't it be great if we did something as a whole school and we all took part in a challenge together? So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. So, do you like reading stories? Do you like telling stories? Do you like writing stories? I really hope that you can answer yes to at least one of those questions. Stories are truly magical things. They can keep you on the edge of your seat, they can bring you happiness, they can spread excitement and intrigue, and there's so many things that stories highlight. They have morals. They can even open doors into new worlds for you to explore. All in all, stories are wonderful and something that everybody should have access to and be able to read. So this is something that started with my daughter Paisley. I've been reading stories to her since she was born and even before that. She has some lovely books, but I've read them all and I've read them all more than once. So I was thinking about, as a school, whether you and your wonderful creativity could supply Paisley with some of your stories, and then I could spend my time reading them to her and giving her lots of enjoyment from all of the things that you have put together. But then I thought actually it can be much bigger than that. I then thought about my parents, Paisley's grandparents, and wouldn't it be amazing if I could write a story and include them in it and then send it to them and get them to read that to Paisley at bedtime so that they could be part of her bedtime routine. It's really hard in this time of worry and this time of loneliness for lots of people to actually connect with family and friends, because we're not allowed to see them unless we live in a household with them. So I thought that would be the perfect way of getting them involved. They could use a video app, Zoom or Skype or something, to read the story to her. Then I thought actually it's bigger than that. What about all of our key workers? What about the post women and men, the shopkeepers, the firemen, police people, obviously nurses, doctors, care staff, all of those key workers that are keeping the country going? Wouldn't it be amazing if we could include them in some of our stories and share them with those key workers so that they not only feel appreciated but that we can spread a little bit of joy? So then I thought about your families, and wouldn't it be wonderful if you could write stories for your cousins, nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters, parents, grandparents, and once you've created them you could share them with them over Zoom or Skype or something. If you don't have those, you could just read the story down the phone to them, or you could even create the story. If you're a creative person, you'd want to make the story and illustrate the story, and then you could actually send that to them in the post. And I just think that would spread so much joy and bring so much light to those people. It would be really wonderful. So it's time for the challenge. I've kind of explained it, but I just wanted to make sure that I'd explained it fully. So there are some options. So option number one, if you don't have anybody in your immediate family that you think would enjoy your story, or if you want to write a story specifically for the younger audience, then my little girl Paisley would love to hear your stories. That's option one. You could create a story for her. That could either be recorded, just audio, or you could record yourself telling it, or you could even create the storybook. So there are lots of different options there, and I'd love to read her or tell her your stories or show her your stories and give you some feedback on what she thinks. After this video I'll give you a little brief of all the things that Paisley likes in a storybook. Hi, me again. So I wanted to introduce you to somebody. This is Paisley. And Gatsby. So if you don't have any siblings or grandparents or people that you want to write a story for, Paisley would love to have your stories read to her. And I will let you know the type of stories she loves. But here she is. Say hi, Repton Manor. Who is it? Hiya. Here are some photos of Paisley enjoying her books. As you can see, she loves the ones with textures, bright colours, and animals. Okay, option 2 is you could create a story for a member of your family. So it could be a sibling, it could be parents, grandparents, cousins, nieces, nephews, or maybe even friends. So somebody that you want to show your appreciation to. You could include them in the story themselves, or something they really enjoy could be part of that story. If you've got a cousin that loves football, your storybook could be all about football, maybe with them as the main character. If you want to write it about your mum, it could include her favourite animals. So just try and include something in there that is of interest to them. Option 3, you could create a story for a member of the community. So it could be that somebody that lives near you, you know that possibly they don't have friends and family with them, and they might be lonely. They might be a neighbour that you know quite well, and you're not able to spend time with because of social distancing. So it might be that you want to create a story for them. And again, what a wonderful way of spreading a little bit of happiness, and you could just post that through their letterbox. Option 4 is you could create a story for one of our key workers. So it could be that you see the postman or post lady every day, you give them a wave, and actually you think, I want to show them a bit of appreciation. You could create your storybook and you could leave it hanging out of your letterbox and just label it to the postman or post lady. It could be the binman, it could be someone you might want to show care staff in the hospital your appreciation, so you might want to actually post it to the hospital, and it might be that that care worker then shares it with patients too. Again, you're then spreading happiness and spreading your creativity far and wide. That's option number 4. Now, with all of those options, I would love to see your stories. So however you present them, whether it's audio, whether it's video of you telling it, whether it's actually creating that storybook and taking lots of time over the illustrations and the front and back covers, then I would love to see it. So it could be that you take some photos and send that to your year group emails. It could be that when all this is over, we bring all of the books that you've created and all of the stories you've written into school and spend some time telling them to each other. That would be wonderful and really exciting. So the inspiration for your stories can come from anywhere. On the website at the minute, I told a story called The Rainbow Keepers, which was for year R1 and 2. And the inspiration for that story was the rainbow that can be seen in lots of windows as a symbol of hope and to let people know we're thinking of them, and our care staff. So just that one thing made me think of rainbows, maybe think of how do they keep their colour, and it kind of went from there. So you can start with one object, one character, one thing, and then spin the rest of your story from there. You're all wonderfully creative people, and I cannot wait to see and hear what you've written. Another option is to include a family pet, Gatsby. So you might want to include your cat, your dog, your gerbil, your snake, whatever animal you've got, you might want to make them your main character.